Hey, what's up guys, it's Atrix here. Today marks the end for Yuzu Emulator and Citra Emulator forever. It is very disheartening and disappointing news, but Yuzu Emulator has accepted defeat against Nintendo and we won't be able to use the Yuzu Emulator any further. So Yuzu will officially cease to exist. There will be no new builds of Yuzu Android or Yuzu PC, and the existing builds have all been removed from its official GitHub page. Even its GitHub repository has been taken down along with its official website. I'll be talking about what it will mean going forward in terms of emulation of any kind, Nintendo Switch or Nintendo 3DS, because Citra Emulator has also been taken down. I'll talk more about it in my next video regarding the official takedown of Citra Emulator. Just a week ago, as you might know, Nintendo filed a lawsuit against Yuzu Emulator saying that their emulator was used for piracy and to emulate Tears of the Kingdom even before it was released. Also because Yuzu Emulator provides guide on their website talking about how you can dump the keys and firmware. Basically because of these factors, Nintendo decided to file a lawsuit, and this case didn't even go into court. They just settled it out. Yuzu Emulator and Nintendo decided to talk it out and Yuzu accepted defeat. Now Yuzu Emulator has to pay $2.4 million to Nintendo in terms of damages. So basically moving forward there will be no other Yuzu emulators for Android. Even if there is an fork version of Yuzu Emulator, it still probably won't be legal because Nintendo decided to close Yuzu Emulator including all of its source code. So any clones or fork version of Yuzu will be a no-go moving forward. So what does it mean in terms of emulation, right? Because Nintendo has taken a huge step in terms of ending the emulation scenario, at least for their consoles. And I get what Nintendo is trying to say, and it really does baffle me that between Nintendo filing a lawsuit against Yuzu, Citra Emulator got caught in the crossfire because the developers of Citra Emulator are the same developers who created Yuzu Emulator, and because Yuzu is ceasing to exist, they decided to close down Citra Emulator as well. The only best 3DS emulator for both Android and PC no longer exists, which means moving forward there won't be any new updates of Citra Emulator, there won't be any changes, there won't be any updates. Well, 3DS emulation was pretty much stable, but still there won't be any new features added in Citra. I think if you have the previous builds you can still use it because it has nothing to do with the lawsuit against Yuzu Emulator. Anyways, for more details I'll be uploading a video pretty soon on it. I think the factors which affected this lawsuit were, first of all, Yuzu Emulator had its early access builds Patreon page, which basically had users donate to their cause and they earned money from it. Because Tears of Kingdom was leaked, people were able to emulate the game partially or at least some parts, and they were able to spoil the storyline of this legendary game. Also, Yuzu Emulator had its quick start guide which talked more into detail regarding dumping your keys, etc. So all of these factors decrease the credibility of Yuzu Emulator in this case, and that's why it had to be settled very soon. The Yuzu Emulator as well as Citra Emulator's Discord server will also be permanently removed. Let me talk about the announcement that was made from one of the main developers of Citra and Yuzu Emulator. Hello users and Citra fans, we write today to inform you that Yuzu and Yuzu support of Citra are being discontinued effective immediately. Yuzu and its team have always been against piracy. We started the project in good faith out of passion for Nintendo and its consoles and games, and we're not intending to cause any harm, but we see now that because our projects can circumvent Nintendo's technological protection measures and allow users to play games outside of authorized hardware, they have led to extensive piracy. In particular, we have been deeply disappointed when users have used our software to leak game content prior to its release and ruin the experience for legitimate purchasers and fans. We have come to a decision that we cannot continue to allow this occur. Piracy was never our intention, and we believe that piracy of video games and consoles should end. Effective today, we will be pulling our code repositories offline, discontinuing our Patreon accounts and Discord servers, and soon shutting down our website. We hope our actions will be a small step towards ending piracy of all creators' work. Thank you for years of support and understanding our decision. Now this entire statement is bit skeptical because obviously if you are developing an emulator you would know that there will be some amount of piracy, and Yuzu Emulator has been here since the past 6 years. They would obviously know, and even before Yuzu Emulator, Citra Emulator was present, so they obviously did have knowledge regarding this type of things. So I think this is basically a statement created by lawyers just to showcase that Yuzu has pled guilty and accepts defeat. Anyways, that was all about this current situation. Let me know in the comment section down below what are your thoughts on this. Honestly, I am really disheartened, but we can understand one thing, that if something exists today, for example, it can be your own life or anyone or anything in general, it may not exist in the future, so you should enjoy and live your life in present, because we don't know what will happen in just a small time frame, like we saw happen with the Yuzu Emulator project. Within a week, this project has been completely stopped and dissolved. 6 years of hard work, 6 years of daily updates. No one assumed that this would happen, but it did happen, so we can indeed learn from it too. Don't take anything for granted. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. I'll see you guys next time talking more about the Citra emulator in general. Goodbye.